I'm gonna show you how to make ads that are impossible to ignore. Ads that stop the scroll, hold attention, and convert cold scrollers into buyers. And then I'm gonna give you a system to be able to consistently add new winners into your ad account every single week. Now, who am I to break this down for you? Well, I've been running Meta ads since I was 13 years old, and present day, my company produces a minimum of 2,000 ad creatives every single month, and we've generated tens of millions of dollars in tracked revenue for our clients. And most of you right now are doing things completely backwards. You're focused on making your ads look pretty instead of making ads that are actually gonna work. You're using the same hooks over and over and switching things out, and you're structuring the messaging completely wrong. And you're also not producing nearly enough volume to keep up with A, the new algorithm, and B, just the landscape that is Meta ads in 2026. And what I'm gonna show you is not only what we're doing, but it's also what the biggest, fastest growing brands in the world are doing, and that's why we do it too. So before we get into the solution, there's two issues that I see that most of you need to overcome. The first is your obsession with quality or nitpicking small details. And the second is you severely underestimate the volume required to succeed. Right now, you're creating ads that look, sound, and feel like ads. If you're using AI to write your copy and you don't have a really dialed in workflow, it probably sucks. And then comes the volume problem. Most of you guys are creating 20, maybe 30, maybe 50 ads a month. And I'm gonna refer to Hormozy on this one. Just roll the clip on what Hormozy says about volume.
Amount of volume and repetition that is required to excel, typically not twice as much or 10 times as much. It's usually in the order of magnitudes of thousands of times as much work.
Now that you understand the rules of the game and how you've been playing it wrong, I am going to show you how to beat it. So principle number one is understanding the native format. Post-Andromeda, native content is going to outperform studio-produced content every single time. I recommend UGC videos, street interviews, or iPhone VSLs. A good rule of thumb is if it looks and sounds organic, it's likely to perform better. Not only does the algorithm reward this, but we're living in a post-TikTok Shop era. TikTok Shop entirely changed the way that consumers behave and make purchasing decisions. And Meta has actually even spoken about this in their press releases. They want native ads. A, because consumer behavior has changed, but B, because consumers' number one gripe on the internet is ads. So they want to create a user experience that feels like there's no ads. And even just think about it from your perspective. When you're scrolling through your feed, you scroll right past the ads that look like ads. So I'm gonna show some good examples of what native ads look like right now. And this is a good place to start when building your swipe file. You can look at brands like Comfort, Dr. Squatch, Ridge, Haas, or others. They're very good sources for organic looking, very native looking ad creatives. So the second principle is hook diversity. The hook essentially makes or breaks the ad. We know that, but you can have a very good concept with a very bad hook, and it's just not going to work. And I also want to make it very clear that there are two parts to every single hook. There's the copy and what the video is saying, but there's also the visual and what you are seeing when you see the video. And visual hooks are just as important as copy hooks. And like I say in all my videos, I'm not talking a cute dog, a car crash, or a BBL. I'm talking about a hook that is going to qualify and draw in your ICP. The reason hook diversity is also important, notice I'm not saying just test a bunch of hooks, is because the algorithm needs diversity to find different audiences. If you're using the same hook or the same hook type or the same hook visual, you're not going to be finding different audiences that are necessary, and you're leaving massive amounts of money on the table. So this is why it's smart to go ahead and build a hook bank. That is an action item that you need to take. You not only need to have a swipe file, but you also need to have a hook bank. And you need to build out a list of hook variations. Let's say you're a skincare brand. You could go, my skin always breaks out when, hook. My dermatologist told me, hook. This is the skincare product that, hook. I thought this was a scam until, hook. If you're tired of, hook. And then beyond that, when you say that, my skin always breaks out when blank, you could say different problems that relate to different people, okay? It's the same product, it's the same type of messaging, but they're very different hooks, and you can also test very different visual hooks with those as well. And the third principle that we're gonna talk about is messaging. Every winning video ad loosely follows this format. First, you need to dive into the problem, then you need to dive into your unique mechanism or why you are the solution. Then you need to go into social proof or some form of risk reversal, and then you need a very strong CTA. This order works because it is exactly how people make buying decisions, whether it's UGC ad, a VSL, or whatever type of video ad you're running. And then you need to also take these things into account when you're making your static ads. You can make some static ads that are very focused on the problem, some static ads that are very focused on how your product is a solution, some static ads that are very focused on social proof. These are more of your middle or bottom of funnel static ads, whether it be a review, a testimonial, or before and after. And the reason that making ads this way works so well is because your funnel is essentially addressing the objection that the customer has before they even have it. And all of the ads that we make and all of the funnels that we build follow this type of messaging structure. So number 4, it is velocity, volume, output. And this is where most of you are losing, to be honest. I get on a lot of calls with potential clients, and I look in their ad account and they have some really, really good ads. Whether they made them by accident or whether they were watching good videos and learning, they actually have some very good ads and they have some pretty decent KPIs on those ads. They work for a little bit, but they fundamentally misunderstand how much volume it actually takes to succeed in 2026. And it's because, as we know, the algorithm rewards volume and diversity. Your competitor, if they're launching 100 or 1,000 new ads every single month, realistically, they are going to beat you. That is a very realistic threat to your business. But the key here and the way that you can win is not just producing tons of ads randomly. You need to actually build a systematic approach. And this is where we start to go into pipeline A and pipeline B. This is something that I've talked about on the channel. And essentially what it is understanding when you need to launch a lot of new concepts and when you need to launch a lot of iterations of previous winners. So pipeline A is specifically for new concepts. This is where you're consistently launching fresh new ideas, whether it be testing a new offer, whether it be testing new creative types, new angles, whatever it is. You're essentially just exploring. And the point of this is just looking for some data, some feedback in your learnings to try to go and create new winners, find new angles, and find new types of creatives that you can make. Now, pipeline B is going to be specifically your iteration. And this is where you either take winning ads and figure out variables that you can change to recreate them, or sometimes you even take losing ads that had some really good secondary metrics and you make one change and that could also become a winning ad. You can change variables like different hooks, different creators, different CTA, different format, but the whole core concept of the actual ad stays the same. You're just changing one or two variables. Now, this part is extremely important. The balance between pipeline A and pipeline B, the balance between new concepts and iteration. And this is going to totally depend on you or your media buyer, or if you work with us, it's gonna depend on us. But this is gonna depend totally on how well you're actually doing your learnings, how well you actually understand what's going on in the ad account, what ads are winning, why they're winning. This is gonna depend on your learnings. And an example I like to use is this. Let's say you've been launching a lot of new ads. Your winning ad is starting to see a rise in cost per acquisition. Your hit rate is pretty low. This is an example that you're stuck on one piece of messaging or one angle, and it's time for you to launch some new fresh concepts into the ad account. Or vice versa, you don't have a ton of winning ads in your ad account, but you just had a really, really hot batch. Good ads, good hit rate. This is time where you can take that and turn 1, 2, 3, 4 new winning ads into 10 good ads. But these things are ever changing as time goes on. So a specific example, let's say maybe this month your account's kind of stalling out. You don't have a lot of winners. We go heavy into new concepts and we go less into iterations, maybe 70% new concepts, 30% iteration. Then by next month, we actually have found a lot of winners. We want to shift that the other way. We maybe want to go 20 to 30% new concepts and then maybe 70 to 80% iterations based on those winning ads that we just had in the prior month. This is gonna make it so much easier to produce volumes of content. And this comes from understanding what's going on in your ad account and doing proper learnings. And truthfully, this is the modern moat. Your product is not your moat. Your quality of creative that you can produce is not your moat. This is the moat. Understanding how to make good content, how to make good ads, and then understanding why they're actually good ads. So to bring this all full circle, the 4 things you need to remember. First, native format. Second, hook diversity. Third, understand your messaging. And fourth, volume. Now, if you made it to the end of the video, comment the word Hormozy to let me know that you made it all the way through. And if you're a direct-to-consumer brand spending more than $100,000 a month and you don't want to do this yourself, click the link below. There's a bunch of ad examples that we've made on our landing page. There's case studies, there's testimonials, and there's a full video explainer about exactly what we do and how we do it. So hopefully that was helpful. Comment Hormozy if you made it to the end. See you in the next one.